Hello. Today we're going to talk about 5 factors which you can use to fine-tune your workout so that you can get just what you need out of it. My name is Chris Butterworth. This is the Healthy Butter channel. We talk here about fighting father time every day, every step of the way, so we can get better as we get older. I got to my 50s and had all sorts of aches and pains and chronic pain in my back. And today at 56, I feel great. It's not easy to put together a workout program in this functional fitness direction. Kettlebells, club, Mace, there are several other things you can do, but there's not a one-size-fits-all program, and the information online is hard to assimilate and digest and make it all into one easy-to-use program. So I talk here about the things that I've done, what I've gone through, what I've learned, and I try to share it with you. So let's get started. Let's talk about 5 factors that you can that influence your workouts. The first one is volume, volume cycles. How many reps do you do? Scratch that. Let's start with volume cycles. How many sets do you do during the course of your workout? So let's say that you're doing sets of 5 reps. Let's say you start with 5 sets of 5, whatever it is, kettlebell swings, kettlebell cleans, inside circles with a club, whatever your exercise is. If you start with 5 sets of 5, volume cycles are how many sets you do. You can go to 6 sets, you can go to 7 sets, you can go to 8 sets, all the way up to 20 sets of 5. And the reason that is because clearly more sets is harder than less sets. Common sense, right? But if you're doing 5 sets and you increase to 6 sets, you only added 1 set, but your workout got 20% harder. You're doing 20% more work. You know that you can do sets of 5, right? You've done 5 sets of 5 already. So it's something that you know you can do. Your body's getting used to it. Doing a set of 5 is where your target is and what your body's working on. Adding 1 more set, not that bad, right? You made it progressively just a little tiny bit harder. You do not have to increase your sets every workout. Some people online would say, ramp it up, run it up, run it up. I think in our 50s, where what we're trying to do is build long-term pain-free mobility and gain the most out of our bodies, we don't need to run it up that fast. Do 5 until you're comfortable. Do it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and then move up to 6. The volume cycles are the things that you can control that add the least amount of impact. You're not making your workout super difficult right up front. So run up those volume cycles, 5 sets, 6 sets, 7 sets. When you can get to 20 sets, then you can increase the density and run it up again. 5 sets of 6, 6 sets of 6, 7 sets of 6, all the way up. 5 sets of 7, 6 sets of 7, 7 sets of 7, all the way up. So as I say that, we just talked about the second item, density cycles. Density cycles are how many reps you do, in a set. So sets of 5 is 1 density, and if you add 1 to it, you're doing sets of 6. You made each set 20% harder, which over time can get difficult. Well, again, when we think about this, when we take a step back and think about the big picture, doing a set of 1 is a lot easier than doing a set of 20. Duh, right? Common sense. Sometimes we have to think about it in the most common sense approach to figure out how it works together. 20 sets of 1 is going to give you 20 total reps. 1 set of 20 is also going to give you 20 total reps, but that 1 set of 20 is going to be a lot harder. You might not be able to get all the way through if you get tired halfway through. So doing sets with more reps is harder than doing sets with less reps. So first we can control the volume cycles, and then we can control the density cycles. Those are the 2 major pieces. 5 sets of 5, 5 sets of 6, 6 sets of 6, 8 sets of 8. Run up the volume, run up the number of sets first, run up the density second. And that is how you can, that's how you can slowly build to the point where you're doing lots of overall work, right? 10 sets of 10 is 100. 20 sets of 5 is also 100. but that 10 sets of 10 is going to be harder. The third thing that you can control, and this leads right into that discussion that we're just talking about, is the work rate. How much work are you doing compared to how much rest you're getting? And let's go back to our volume and density. If you're doing sets of 1, but you do 20 of them, you're going to do a set of 1, and then you put it down, and then you're going to rest 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, and then you do another set. Doing that sets of 20 is going to involve a little bit of work. Each rep took 5 seconds, and then you rested a minute, right? So you're going to have 20 times 5 is 100 seconds, a minute and 40 of actual work, and you're going to have 20 minutes of rest. And conversely, if you do that one set of 20, you're going to have whatever 20 reps took, a minute and a half or a minute or whatever it is of work, and then you're going to have no rest. It's all work. So how you structure your rest time impacts how difficult your overall workout was. A lot of times we start out with an EMOM, every minute on the minute. So let's say you're doing 5 sets of 5 again. You do a set of 5 with the right hand, set of 5 with the left hand, put the weight down. That probably took you 20 seconds, 25 seconds. And now you get 35 to 40 seconds of rest until the top of the next minute. As soon as it hits at the top of the minute, you do your next set. And that is a nice way to introduce a continuous work pattern. It also accelerates when you go from a set of 5 to a set of 6. When you increase your density, your rest goes down because it takes you just a little bit longer to do 6 than it did to do 5, which means instead of getting 35 or 40 seconds of rest, you might only get 30 to 35 seconds of rest. So EMOM is a great way to increase the work rate and have you do more work in the same overall amount of time. Your rest goes down just a little bit. What I found when I was going through this is that works great up to about 7, maybe 8 reps. Eventually you get to a point where there's just not enough rest. When it takes you 45 or 50 seconds to do your work, and then you only get 10 seconds of rest, you're huffing and puffing. You never get a chance to calm down enough. And after a few sets, at least for me personally, I would blow up. Like it was just too much. So what I introduced was a fixed rest portion. I decoupled the work from the rest, so I could do sets of 8 with a 30-second rest. And then if I did 15 sets of 8, 16 sets of 8, when I got up to 100 total reps, then I would look at what do I want to change. I can either do sets of 9, or I could decrease the rest from 30 seconds to 25 seconds. And that gave me a split path. If I wanted to really focus on strength and make myself stronger, that's going to require lifting more. It's going to require more reps. So that would be moving my sets to 9. If I wanted to work towards strength endurance and being able to just lift a whole bunch at a time with very little rest, that would move toward reducing my rest time. So I talk about these 5 factors as a way to fine tune your workouts. We might have 2 people, you might have 2 identical twins that are going through this together, but one of them wants to veer towards strength and one of them wants to veer towards strength endurance. We all have different variables, different places that we are in our life and what we want to get out of this journey. I think we all want to be pain-free and we all want movement, but these little things matter. So volume cycles, density cycles, and work rate, rest time. The fourth thing, which is a little bit of the third thing, but it's the overall workout duration. How much time are you willing to give to your workout? 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and how long do you space these out? So that kind of gets toward the fixed rest. But if you only have 20 minutes a day to give to this workout, you want to factor those things to make the most of those 20 minutes. when I go back to the examples, if you do 5 sets of 5, but you only have a 30-second rest between them, the entire workout might take you 5 minutes, right? Whereas if you do a set of 5 at the beginning of your day and a set of 5 in the middle of the morning and a set of 5 at lunchtime, right? You might get those 5 sets of 5 done during the course of the day, but it might take you all day to do that. Clearly, the shorter time is harder than the longer time. So a little bit of 3A. I'm going to add a bonus in there. So I'm going to add a bonus factor. So in case you're counting that as part of 3, we're still going to get to 5. The fifth factor that's going to matter on this, after we've gone all the way up on volume cycles and we've maxed out our density cycles and we've maxed out our work rate, so we're not resting. This is just pure endurance. You're getting the most that you can out of that particular weight. Let's increase the weight, right? If you've maxed out a 20-pound or a 25-pound kettlebell, let's go up 5 pounds. If you've maxed out a 10-pound club, let's go to 12.5 pounds. Whatever it is, once you get to the point where you've mastered that workout, there's nothing more you can get out of it, let's move up in weight. There is no rush, absolutely no rush to run the weight up. A lot of what you see online, the fitness influencers, the Instagram folks, the YouTube folks, I see a lot of videos, and I don't know if it's a macho thing or if it's just because that's what the followers want, or if it's just the society we're in, but there's a run toward how heavy can I do? Look at this gigantic mace and I'm able to swing it. Look at this, double 60-pound kettlebells and I'm able to do 2 at a time. As a 55-year-old guy that's not that big and certainly not jacked and ripped, I don't need to do that. All I want is to be pain-free, and I want the most of my movement. I want flexibility, I want movement, and I want pain-free. There's no reason for me to be lifting 50, 60-pound kettlebells. So keep in mind where you are and what you need to do, but at some point, you might master that weight and you need to move up. The last thing I'm going to talk about, this is the bonus one, and I'm going to do an example here, and this is complexity. You can always make the exercise a little bit more complex, and that may be a way to make the weight last longer. If you feel like you've mastered that weight, have you really? And I'm going to give you an example. This is a 15-pound kettlebell. This is not really a workout weight. This is pretty simple, right? But I'm using it for an example here because if I were to do cleans with a 15-pound kettlebell, I could do hundreds of these. This is not a workout by any means. If I do a bottom-up clean, it's harder. And I feel my hand wants to wobble, and I'm using all sorts of different muscles in my arm keeping this straight. If I do swings or cleans, and I'm going to take a step back, if the weight is coming up to here, it's not that big of a deal. Again, I can do hundreds of these. But there's an exercise called a high pull, where you do a swing and you end up here. Holding the weight here without it dropping, this is a different exercise. And now I'm using, it's almost like a row. I'm using different muscles in my back, and it's a much more difficult exercise than just a swing. It's even more difficult than a clean. So you could continue to go on with the same weight. And the reason I bring that up is because with a 25-pound weight, I'm doing a strength endurance program right now. I'm trying to get up to do 25 minutes with this 25 pounds. Cleans, clean and press, snatch, some figure eight cleans. So I'm just kind of repeating that over and over and over again. But 25 minutes without putting this down is my goal. And I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. But even with that, so this is not a really heavy kettlebell for me. Bottoms up on this is difficult. I could not do a lot of these, and it's all over the place right now. High pulls, I can do a few, but it wants to wobble in my wrist. So I can take this kettlebell, this 25-pound bell that's not that heavy for me, and I can turn it into a really hard workout if I were to add those two pieces. So volume cycle, density cycle, work rate / rest time, overall duration of your workouts, what weight are you using, and do you want to add any complexity? 5 factors plus a bonus factor that you can use to fine-tune your workout as you're building a program and get the most out of your functional fitness journey in the least amount of time. Hope that made sense to you. If it did, please like, subscribe. We'll build a community here over time, and hopefully we can all learn from each other and grow together. Have a great day. Go get better.